Rocksolid Musecast Experience, Aaron, Dave, and Patrick. It's a scorcher, man. It's a barn burner today. Hey, by the way, today is, and I hope they do this every year on Labor Day weekend. Today is National Cinema Day, where every movie is $3. Did you know this, Patrick?
I did not know this.
Get the kids together and take them to the movie today. It's $3. Popcorn, $3. Sodas, $3. Everything, $3.
Gas is still $9 a gallon.
Yeah.
But, you know,
yeah.
But the movies are $3.
Yeah.
One, it's college football day. Two, you guys can't go to movies because you can't plug in your cars to go. And so and three, that $9 a gallon shouldn't matter to you. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna drive my gas guzzling, exhaust fumes spewing, oil burning rig everywhere for the next 40 freaking years, man.
You got
What?
an H1, don't you?
No. I've got a big old diesel freaking bus that just sucks down the fuel, and it smells it smells like somebody's raping the ozone every time I.
I don't want to get too far off track because I want to talk about this energy thing, but you mentioned the bus, and that just brought to mind a very vivid dream I had last night about Aaron buying a shuttle bus because of all the kids he mentors and everything. We were talking about you buying a Santa Fe, and you were like, I bought this shuttle bus. And it wasn't like, it was like the airport shuttle bus. It wasn't like it had beds in it or it was comfortable or anything. It was just this shuttle bus. And you're like, this is what we're going in from now on. Crabbing, shuttle bus. And I was like, really? You can't even sleep in this thing, bro. And I was like laying down and you were hitting speed bumps. And I was like bouncing out of the seats. And he goes, oh yeah, I got to fix the shocks. It doesn't have shocks.
Aaron,
is this like a new segment for the show? Dave's Dreams?
I could make that a segment.
I don't think that should ever be a segment. But don't you dare for a minute let Dave beat up the dream you about your shuttle bus, Aaron.
It's like, it's like the Duggars, when they started with like 10 kids and counting or whatever it was, they just had a 15 passenger van. And by the time they were done, they had like a fleet of shuttle buses.
That lady just walks around.
But my shuttle bus is going to be electric. But on weekends like this, I'm not going to be able to shuttle anybody.
Yeah, you ain't going nowhere. So, out here in California, we have an energy crisis going on because it's going to be 110. Now, let me tell you something for those 20 somethings that think they know everything. I'm taking a stab at you on this one. I'm 51 and I lived in California in the 70s through a horrendous drought, record heat at the time. It's not uncommon for Sacramento to hit 110 degrees. It's uncomfortable, but not uncommon for Sacramento to hit 110 degrees in the summertime. It's just not. Okay. What is uncommon is that we seem to not care about our power. We just give it away. And then we get into situations like we're in right now, where, last week, governor said by 2035, no more sale of gas burning vehicles, all electric by 2035, which isn't even 15 years away. Then they came out this week and said, hey, by the way, we're looking at an energy crisis. Don't plug that electric vehicle in.
Dude, I'm telling you, that has to be scripted. You cannot. This has to be scripted. Things don't fall that way, man.
Right?
I mean, I'm not a believer.
It's too convenient.
I'm not a believer in coincidence.
Hey, to put it in Al Gore's term, it's an inconvenient truth.
Speaking of Mr. Global Climate Change.
I thought you were going to go somewhere else with that.
No, if I was going to go somewhere else, I was going to talk about polar ice caps melting, polar bears raping seals, and penguins going off the deep end. But I mean, that's a topic for a different.
Hey, I don't want to harp on the climate change thing. That's a whole other can of worms. But
it's fake.
I do know that the world goes through cycles, and I kind of I always ask this question. I always wonder, during the Ice Age, people weren't around. Cars definitely weren't around. Not a lot of cows around.
Dinosaur farts, bro.
Oh, dinosaur farts is what melted the glaciers,
Yep.
melted the Ice Age.
Dinosaur.
Okay. See,
Haven't you ever watched Ice Age? Ray
no, I
Romano
haven't. I never watched it.
spelled it out perfectly.
Oh, okay. All right. I never saw it. But what I was telling Aaron about last night, I was looking at this story from Colorado where these people, they signed up a couple of years ago for this really cool energy saving program. And it's really cool because and I'm not reading the story. I'm doing this off of memory. If you want to read about it, you can go online and read about it. But you sign up for this energy saving program and they give you like a Nest style thermostat and $100. And then once a year, they give you $25. So in the first year, you got yourself a thermostat and $125. Sounds like a pretty good deal. Oh, it's pushing 90 something degrees in Denver this weekend, which is uncommonly hot, I guess, for Denver. But people went to, turn the thermostat down so they could get the AC going. And they were greeted with a message that said, nope, you're part of the program. And we're in an energy crisis and an energy emergency. And no, your thermostat is set. And they said that the thermostat was set at 78 or 79 and that it was 80 plus degrees in the house while it was 90 plus degrees outside. And these people are upset. And this is not even a political thing. I know a lot of conspiracy theorists are going on and maybe they're right, maybe they're wrong. I think they're right that, we have invited, these agencies to come into our home and control these things for us in the name of convenience. But for $125, these people can't turn the air conditioner on when it's hot. And you know what I say? Here's my $125. Give me some AC.
I just like to point out the fact that these quote unquote conspiracy theorists have an amazing track record of being right this far. So, yeah.
Well, like I said, I wasn't going to get on that rant. That we really do need to do an OTO, like a blockbuster, maybe a 2-hour, just so I can cover all the topics, man.
So we can rant on everything.
Oh, maybe nobody's going to watch or listen to it, but I can get it off my chest. So as Gavin Newsom says, I can sleep better at night.
That's right.
Mhm.
Are you sure that you would, because President Palpatine would send his goons in to send the first order in to daggone take us away.
Hey,
Wasn't that a great speech the other night he gave?
I didn't hear it because I don't normally listen to Biden because he's a goof. I mean, he really is a goof. When the rest of the world, watch some of the Sky News from Australia stuff, the world is laughing not just at Biden, but at us because they can't figure out why we put him in office.
You at least
we
saw
want to
the
get rid of
imagery, right?
Mr. Mean Tweets.
Yeah,
You at least saw the imagery that of Biden on stage, correct?
absolutely.
Yeah, I mean,
And that was one of the things that I was wondering as I was listening to Bongino talk about the Marines standing behind him and how he was using. Well, Bongino believes that he was using them as a show of force instead of past presidents who used the Marines as a show of military might for our country. He was using it as a weaponization show of force. So I'm
called at least, and this is being this is just going along the lines of what they say the voting total was. At least he called at least 71 million Americans terrorists, basically a threat to the republic, a threat to America. And then the very next day, dude comes, well, no, I don't believe that all Trump supporters are terrorists or a threat to our. It's like, whatever, dude. Take your pills.
Hey, you know what? he didn't write that speech. He didn't come up with any of that on his own. His speech writers wrote that for him.
That
I'm
dude
not
doesn't
even
tie his own shoes. What are you
yeah,
talking about?
exactly. He can't ride a bike, man. So for him to go back and say, "Oh, I didn't mean to say that," I'm gonna clean it up, is total BS. It needs to be called out for what it is. It's total BS.
Well, he's so popular that usually Labor Day weekend, the sitting president is out campaigning for other senators and all that around the nation, and he's going on vacation because no one wants to see him.
Yeah. Well, so I was going to ask you, as a Marine, number one, if you were ordered to stand behind the president while he gave that speech, could you have done it with a straight face like those three guys did?
Yeah, you'd have to respect the office. You don't have to respect the man. Respect the office and respect the ceremonial and the pomp and circumstance. Yeah,
I understand that, but
now
involuntarily, because I know me, involuntarily, you would have went, I'm done.
Those guys drew the short straw.
You think?
Yeah, they just like.
Oh, I don't think so.
No, okay.
Well,
I don't think so.
One
What
of
do
them
you think,
was
Patrick?
I saw one of them was he was on a second enlistment because he had the second enlistment stripe down his arm, and he was a sergeant, and the other one was a corporal. So they were definitely E5 and below out there. So yeah, they definitely got the short straw. Okay, you guys are going to Potato Joe's little Nazi talk and his Nazi sing song.
Hey, I'm going to tell you something. I am a fan of history, and I find the Second World War fascinating because there were so many countries involved and so many dictators and so many different things happening. You had, you had Japan, right? And you had Mussolini, and you had Hitler, and who else was in there? There was somebody else. I'm forgetting. Was Stalin part of that?
Yeah, Stalin was all up in that mix. Yeah.
Stalin was in that, right?
Okay.
So, it's very interesting. So I was watching some of these World War II documentaries on Netflix, and this one delved into the origins of Hitler and how he came to power. And he started out as the little guy, kind of Ocasio-Cortez like, a man of the people, I want to give to the people and that sort of thing. And he started to amass more power like Ocasio-Cortez is. And he's gaining steam. And then he finally calls for the abolition of the opposing party. Well, what did Biden do? What did Biden do? Somebody answer.
He pretty much called for the same thing.
Okay. So when people are out there going, "Oh, Trump Nazi, Trump supporter Nazi, you racist." I'm sorry. With the imagery that he had and the speech that he gave, it made me think of nothing else but that documentary on Netflix.
Well, for starters, Joe has never been the little guy. He's the big guy. Remember?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Is he pedo Peter too?
Yeah, I guarantee he's pedo Peter.
Oh my gosh.
Did you hear his poll story about they brushed my hair down on my legs so they could see it spring back up? And, I've always been a fan of having kids jump on my lap. It's like,
yeah, what's that about? Who says that?
I mean, Joe. Joe.
Hey, cover for me because
hey, did you hear in his speech the other night the "Let's Go Brandon" chant from the heckler across the street with a megaphone?
No, I didn't.
Oh, dude, they had to bleep on the replay.
I heard it. I heard it
on the replay. They have to bleep it out because it wasn't "Let's Go Brandon." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, and he caught the guy's attention. He caught Biden's attention. And he's like that guy there with the bullhorn.
Oh, he mentioned him?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh,
he talked down about him too.
Oh my gosh.
Talked down about him too.
It's like a heckler in the crowd. You just ignore it.
But
you just ignore him.
But here's an interesting thing. I think it was Maxine Waters that said, if they're out in public,
yep,
go do this. So he took he took his cue from Maxine Waters, right?
Yep. But I guarantee that dude had people show up at his house.
Oh, sure.
I guarantee he did.
Sure. It's getting very scary to have an opinion nowadays. And the reason I say that is
Yeah, look at
because
you had an opinion, and look where you are.
yeah, I'm in Facebook jail. But what the problem here is, and yeah, I got to give credit. I'm taking this from Bongino. I didn't think of this until he said it, which is he just, as you mentioned, labeled 70 million people domestic terrorists.
Yeah.
And he's okay with Mar-a-Lago being raided and weaponizing the FBI. And do you see where this is going? Because they already tried it out. They did their test run on those parents who stood up against the school board.
Well,
Yeah.
again, when you talk about 70 million people voted for somebody, and he says you're stupid, you're wrong, you voted for the wrong guy, you voted for a terrorist.
He's the great uniter.
Yeah. The thing is though, you get to a point where you're telling me that I that I'm stupid, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm a terrorist if I vote for a guy. We're Americans, and I'm not gonna call someone who voted for Biden a name. I think they were wrong. They chose the wrong guy.
I will.
But but I mean,
Hey, you know what?
you get to vote who you vote for.
I agree. I even taught my son that, which is vote for who you think would be the
Gavin
best.
Newsom has got, like, according to the polls, a 25-point lead in California. How can you vote for that guy?
Well, because he's slick, man.
Yeah, well,
He's
You
slick.
These these other people, the other voters, I won't
Yes.
call them bad name. You can tell who they are now because they just run around in their stupid face diapers, and you can just tell it's like their scarlet letter. It's like, yep, I know where your vote went because you still got that freaking muzzle wrapped around your face in your car by yourself with the windows up. Why don't you go eat some more freaking paint chips, kid?
Yeah.
Nom, nom, nom.
But again, he has a 25-point lead here.
This is you can't get a bluer state than California.
I know those polls are skewed.
I understand that. It's at least 15
When you
lead.
when you,
I can't.
when you take
I can't
polls of
understand
the
that.
majority of them being Democratic voters and you sprinkle in 5 Republican voters or undecideds, yeah, you're going to get polls that say, yeah, he's up like this.
Well,
And
He's about
we
to sign the law, a no bail law.
yeah.
A no bail law. I mean, you just don't want to, people that commit crimes,
But-
you don't want to punish them.
but
I
they
don't see how you vote for that.
They said that they tried that in
I
they've
can't
tried that.
think into my brain.
Hang on one
of that.
second. They tried this in Yuba County, which is a neighboring county to Sacramento County, where we live. Yuba County, what, 30 minutes away, Aaron? 45 maybe. They tried the zero bail out there, and 70% reoffended like that. Reoffended. Now,
Man,
how do you argue with those numbers, Mr. Bully Guy?
I wish I was a criminal.
Well,
I
it's
wish
not
I
that hard.
No,
You don't go to jail anymore for it.
no.
But I just don't, it's not in my DNA. It's not in my person.
Exactly. And you know what it goes back to? It goes back to how we were brought up. And I'll say something somewhat controversial. I'm not going to say it's very controversial, but somewhat controversial, which is I think that's straight out of high school. Once you turn 18, you should go in the military for 4 years. I think it should be
at least-
mandatory,
At least 2.
or 2.
Yeah.
At least 2.
Learn, number one, learn how to take care of yourself, how to take care of you and be responsible for you and your actions. Number 2, maybe you take a little pride in your country, because there are people in other countries like Cuba and Hong Kong that are waving. Well, I'm talking about Hong Kong when they were waving the American flag in those protests. But Cuba, I have Cuban friends who tell me what it took to come here, and that they are afraid that this country is going to become like the country that they left. That's exactly what they've said to me. And that's why DeSantis is doing so well out there in Florida with the Cubans because they lived it and they know
Yeah.
it's better.
And the reason why this is all a show, this is all optics that we're dealing with right now. Everything that we see come across our news feeds, everything that Potato Joe got up in front of that camera and spoke about the other day, it was not carried by any major news network because they knew that everybody would just completely run from that network and their ratings, already suffering ratings, would have crashed. But this is all optics. What you need to do, and listen closely, Derek Johnson. He is a country singer from, I think he's down in Tennessee somewhere, but he was brought to my attention on one of these Rumble channels that I watch. And it was 2 weeks ago. Today is September 3rd. So go back a couple weeks from here and look up his first live stream on Facebook that went viral. He's a former military guy. He got out and, but he did analytics or something like that. But he knows military law, he knows constitutional law, and he will walk you through in an hour and some change of how Potato Joe is basically just a fill-in right now for what is to come. Whether you believe in conspiracy or not, he brings out every military code, every law that was passed, every executive order that was passed up to and they went in effect after Trump authorized them to be done. So this is all optics. This is all just a look. This is how suck can look, and this is how bad it is, and it is exposing everything. There's your controversy. Look up Derek Johnson and hear it from the horse's mouth.
All right, there you go. I'm going to wrap it up here because we could go on much longer, but we need to stop. So it's the Rock Salt Musecast experience.